Okay, awesome. All right, so third rookie call here, and tonight I've got my notes right here. We are going to go over three topics. We're going to go over some quick, simple tips that I have for your live and your online events. Words to get bookings in the fall. So, how to get people booked this September and October. I always like to say 2 months out versus like September, October, and November, because sometimes when I book too far out, then I get a lot of cancellations. And then some quick, simple practices that many of us have been using to kind of lure people in to learning more about WildTree. So we're going to go over those three things, and then any questions you have, and I know Abigail is going to be on here in a minute. So these rookie calls are for anybody that's new to the business, and they're anybody that is kind of wanting to restart. Last 2 weeks, Anissa and I have gone over the step-by-step sheet. So I don't know, Martha, if you've had a chance to look at that. But really and truly, I feel like it's just a source for you to get acclimated and hold yourself accountable and be like, I'm doing this. I like these calls because I can ask questions, and then I can also meet some of the other people that are on the same page. Okay, awesome. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to go over tonight is I posted it earlier this week. One quick, simple thing, two actually quick, simple things for online and live events. So this week, if you go into the MRC and you're like, I need to polish what I'm doing at my parties. I kind of don't know. I have some Facebook parties set up. I have some live parties set up. Where do I even go? So go to the MRC because everything has been freshly updated. The MRC is the Media Resource Center. You get in there from your back office. So you go to mywildtree.com, put your rep ID number and your password in, and then the top level is all tabs. And actually, I'll show you right now. Okay, so can you see this, Martha?
It's a white screen right now.
Okay, can you see my WildTree login?
No.
Okay, just a second. Zoom whiteboard, that's why. Okay, here we go. What about now?
There we go.
All right, cool. Okay, so you're going to go to resources. I'll make this bigger. And you're going to go to Media Resource Center. You can see this, right, Martha?
Yes.
Okay, and so what do I mean by all the updates? Right here in 2017 STIR National Conference, this is the section for the updates. And what I am telling new reps and reps that are like, I have a Facebook party, I want to do one, then go to this Facebook party right here and look at the outline first. And follow this. That's what I'm doing. You do not have to do every single post, and you do not have to do every single post and every single image. So for example, tonight I am having my Facebook party, my first Facebook party using the company's outline. And so what I'm doing is I decided that like a couple of these live videos I would lump into one, like the share the testimonial and the open welcome. I'm going to loop those together so I'm not being redundant. I also put this post right here about the history of WildTree and finding a need in my pre-party posts. What do I mean by that? Well, I set my party that I have tonight up on Facebook. I can show you right now. I'll actually add a new tab here on Facebook. And what I did, let's see, we'll go to events. and we'll go to Amy's Mealtime Solution Party. And then we are going to scroll down, and you can see that I put some of those posts. I scheduled them in my ScentShare. ScentShare is another whole topic, but it is a cost. It's an external service, but it allows you to plug in all your posts and have them timed out so that you're not posting on the event. I always tell people, if you're doing 2 Facebook parties a month, this is something you might want to invest in. It's $10 a month because it is going to do all the work for you. It's like basically paying an assistant. So I posted these before my party, and these images are all found right here under Facebook party. They're in order right here, but then they're also right here. But I love this. It has everything laid out for you. The only thing it doesn't have laid out for you is the hostess coaching. And I'll give you a little glimpse at what I do for my hostess coaching. Where is she? Amy is my one for tonight. Here we go. I sent her a little video mail. And in my video mail, I just recorded myself saying, okay, here's what we're going to do. I want to ensure that you have the best Facebook party ever. So what that is going to entail is that is going to mean that you are going to want to get like 15 to 20 people saying that they're coming to the event. So I said, here's what we're going to do. You're going to just send this little message out or something like this, and I included in here, to your top 10. Inviting them to the party. If you hear back from 5 of them saying, yes, that's awesome, include me, then we will open it up to the other 50. Because what happens is once she opens it up and invites everybody and there's 5 people RSVPing right away, other people are going to see that, they're going to get excited, and they are going to want to RSVP too because it's the fear of missing out. So this little video, I can send it to you. I'll put it actually in my recording below. This is just what I've been using. I do need to update it because as you can see, it's winter. But it's just a thing for hosting. Okay. I love you. And then I hostess coach her all through Facebook. Like, hey, your party is in a couple days. Make sure you have a lot of maybes. You have people that haven't heard from you yet. Here's a little blurb that you can send them. She's like, okay, I'll send that out tomorrow. And then I do the incentive of if they have 15 people in attendance, they get a free jug of oil. You do not have to do something that generous. The reason I'm doing that generous is because I'm going to put it in as a half price item. And that half price item then will only cost me, like, with less my discount, it's going to cost me like $13, $15. And you can say you get a free stroganoff meal, and that can be one of your samples. I wouldn't do something as generous as me. The reason I'm doing this is this girl really wants a jug of oil. And so I'm just really trying to incentivize her. Okay, so that's how I do my hostess coaching. So this is just a tip. My tip is use what's out there and make it your own. Just don't feel like it's an overwhelming task. You can book a Facebook party for someone next week. The second thing that I am in telling new reps is to keep your demo simple. We had, if you go to STIR training videos, again in the Resource Center, right here, Kathy McCool's workshop demo. If you're doing a live party, this is where I would definitely watch. She did a great job on stage of showing how she does her demo. And what's awesome about this is oftentimes it's 60 minutes, but it shows you checkout as well. Oftentimes people think like, the food will sell itself. I'm not going to get so hyped up on what to say. Or they'll say they're having an open house from like 6 to 8. And I just want to caution you against both of those theories, because when you have an open house 6 to 8, you're kind of repeating yourself over and over and over. And then when you're not doing a demo, it's kind of like you're taking a cake out from your fridge that you made and you're laying it on the table, but you're not asking anybody if they want a piece of cake. You're just putting it out there for them to stare and ooh and ah at. Some people may ask and say, can I have a piece of cake? But oftentimes people won't. And so it's the same thing when people don't do a demo and when they don't say anything and give them instruction about what Wild Tree is. And it's something that I feel is so crucial, but you don't have to get hung up on it. It can be your own. Personal testimony is great. Listening to what your guest needs is awesome. And don't be afraid if you don't, like you're not a product guru, like you haven't tried everything yet, because that is not that important. You will learn as you go, for sure. So I always say, whenever I feel like my language gets a little sloppy, or I feel like, gosh, I haven't done a demo in a long time, I go back to the resource center and I look at what's current. I did want to show you guys what I put for my demo. I had a party last night, a workshop last night. I have a Facebook party tonight, and I have a workshop tomorrow night. And I put all of my paperwork together that I show for my demo. I use the Media Resource Center under what is new. There was a new customer survey. Make sure everybody fills this out. It's called Circle Your Level of Interest. What I love about this is we are in the ball game of asking for referrals. So no big deal if you do not want to host a party or even come to one. But who do you know that would really benefit from these mealtime solutions? And those are words that I ask. Is there somebody that's on your phone, on your contact, that you think that would benefit from like an evening like this, or even just using these products? And then I have them fill in this little area right here. And if she doesn't fill it in, that's something I ask her, and then I fill it in myself. That becomes part of my follow-up. I make sure that I follow up with them. Martha told me, like, hey, Abigail, this is Sarah Moore. I met your friend Martha last night, and she thought that I have something you might be interested in. So I thought I'd give you a call. Best number to reach me at is this. I'll try you back later if I don't hear back from you. Simple as that. I don't spew out any other information. And usually by that point, my host or my referral person, the referee, has said, hey, somebody might be calling you, kind of like those Cutco knives. Somebody might be calling you. I put your name down last night. I went to a workshop. You remember that was the one I wanted to invite you. You knew couldn't come to, blah, 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 blah. So they have a heads up already. So this is awesome. I have an order form because people order more. I have this use, share, grow. This is a lot like our webinars. I will post this. It's actually a file in our Wild Tree A team. But basically, I do the same thing I do as a webinar. I say there's 3 main ways to get involved with Wild Tree. From a use space, I talk about what that looks like, from a share space, and then from a grow space. And then I just basically tell my story of how I use the product, why I use the product, how I fell in love with the product, and then how I moved to a share space. I was so excited about the product. I decided, like, I want my friends and my neighbors to hear about this. These are the perks of sharing. Then to a grow space. Okay, I was so excited about the product. I was so excited about using the product. And then I thought, well, why don't I give it a try? It doesn't cost much to get started. Sounds like an incredible opportunity. And then I talk about what that means to grow with Wild Tree, how it can be as simple as using it and sharing it and getting part-time income all the way up to a career. We have trips, we have stock options, we have everything in the sorts. So it's completely up to you and what level you might want to get involved. Then it's same thing as a webinar. I talk about the 3 main categories of how we offer mealtime solutions. And the first way is purging your pantry with our Replace the Staples. This is how I got involved with Wild Tree. I was alarmed at what was in the grocery store brand, and I wanted an organic swap, and that was Wild Tree. And so I talk about some of our favorites, and I even bring a few things from my pantry to show them. I bring like our taco seasoning and a skillet meal because people like touching and feeling and smelling. And so I bring that. And then I say, okay, the next category that we have for mealtime solutions is our make fresh options. And if you've ever been on Facebook, can I get a hand roll of who's been on Facebook? And they all raise their hands. Okay, you've seen HelloFresh and Blue Apron, right? Yep, totally seen it. This is our version of HelloFresh and Blue Apron. It's 6 simple steps. They come with pictures. Nutritional facts are broken down for you. If you want your meat all prepped for you and you want to order it online just like you can with Blue Apron and HelloFresh, you can do that through services like Peapod. There's local grocery stores. And if you're like, no, my grocery store won't do that, or no, I don't have Peapod by me, then ask me, because there is a company called Precisely out of Michigan that will prep all your meat for you. You can order a Make Fresh August bundle. They'll send everything to you and you can make these meals completely up to you. Then I tell people that I don't usually do that because I like to make I like to use what's in my freezer. So if we don't like salmon and I have chicken thighs in the freezer, then I'll do an easy swap. So these aren't set in stone. And then our last category that we have for Mealtime Solutions is our Make Ahead. And that's why we're here tonight. We're freezer meal workshopping together. It's a great place for us to have community around Wild Tree. You are leaving your home for a couple hours and you're coming back with 10 prepped meals. And I promise you, you're going to fall in love with the concept and the service that this provides. So what's awesome about these options is tonight we're doing family favorites, and you're probably looking at these like, ooh, my family would totally love Around the World for comfort food. Sounds awesome in fall. So here's the deal. You can book the next workshop live event for you and your friends who are missing tonight, for the ones that are here, for your neighbors, for anybody that you can think of that pops to your head. Or if you're like, the only reason I'm here tonight is because this is my sister. I never leave my home and I hate these type of events. That's no big deal. You can pick whatever one you want on here and complete the concept over and over. Then I show them, I usually bring my binder with me to my parties. And I have it in my party bag right now, of how I stay organized with all of the different freezer meal workshop recipes. I put everything in a tab. This way I'm using up all my leftover product. I'm making the meals over and over, and I'm making the miscellaneous meals. Then I close my party my demo with the same way Kathy did, with a catalog. This is yours to keep as representatives. We don't have to pay for these, which is awesome. There's tons of recipes inside. Our whole product line is inside. You're going to fall in love with the catalog, but I want to encourage you, if you need help meal planning, to stay on target with our mealtime solution packages and categories. And I can help you make your own bundle too. So that pretty much subsides like my demo. Very much like Kathy, I take a time out during my demo and pull people aside. The checkout is very crucial to me because that's when I get to talk to people one-on-one. What you don't see is what happens beforehand. It's so casual. It's just like a girls' night. We're having like either a glass of wine. People are getting settled in. I'm asking what they do, asking about kids, where they live, how they know each other. Like, hey, how do you guys know each other? Do you guys work together? So we just are socializing and chatting. And what I'm going to tell you at the end of this call is that this is so huge for luring people into Wild Tree, is when you can become part of the crowd. I can't say that enough. Like when you can just be like one of the guests, they want to know more and more. And that whole concept is called emptying your cup. You may have heard it before on a previous training with Wild Tree. It is a framework we learned from Jennifer Robinson years ago, and it's one that I practice each and every day. When you can take people's cup and empty it a little bit simply by asking questions and allowing them to talk, you're giving them space to hear more information. And so I feel like the first 15 to 20 minutes is just a get to know you session, and they know nothing about me. Nothing. I don't talk about myself at all. I'm hauling in coolers. I'm cutting up bread. I am holding babies and wiping down counters. And the whole time I'm just chit chatting like, okay, Martha, what did you say you did again? And how do you know Abigail? Oh, okay. Your husbands went to college with each other. Have you done one of these before? Have you heard of Wild Tree before? That's all I do. And then they like me. I think they like me. I don't know. Maybe they don't. But at that point, they're willing to hear more. And so that's when the demo comes, which is short and sweet. At my checkout, I have my Hostess packets, which is super easy. It's like a catalog. I have some in here, a couple samples, and the workshop, freezing my workshop options. I have my calendar to get bookings. And then I have these little flyers that you get in your kit, like how to get started with Wild Tree. And so I pass these out when I ask about referrals, and they're like, yeah, actually, I was really thinking of my sister. She is a stay-at-home mom, and they have celiacs. I think she would really love this. And then I say, I want you to give this to her. I'm going to call her, but I want you to be the one that gives this to her. Would you mind doing that for me? And this is just all information about the business. It's just, again, a little like visual reminder not to forget me. It's a love note. I always put my stamp on the back. It's a conversation starter. I don't know if it goes in the garbage or not, but they tend not to forget me. And when I call them, they'll be remembered like, oh yeah, she did give me that. I got to give that to Cindy the next time I see her. So basically those are some tips. The biggest tip I can give you. So this is all great and dandy. There's actually two big tips, but the first tip is really, it sounds so cliche, but the fortune is in the follow-up. It really is. If you don't follow up with these people that you meet, then it just becomes like almost like a one-night stand. And I don't want that to happen with any of my customers. I feel like the reorder business is only getting easier for Wild Tree. And I think that that's one thing I do pride myself on is people come back for more. And I think it's only because not all of them have booked. Not all of them have signed up on my team. But I've done a pretty diligent job in following up with them, whether it's a Facebook party and they filled out my survey at the end, or it is from a live event. And I feel like that is why I have returning people to come back for orders and more. So just to give you like a quick little testimonial of that, I had 2 cancellations this month, but I ended up generating sales from both of the cancellations only because of the follow-up that I did with the potential guests and the hostess. And so you can turn any lemon into lemonade. You really can. It's just how you look at it. It's just like a paradigm shift. And the second best tip I can give to you is do 90% of your work at your event. So tonight I have a party at 8:30. I'm going to be laser focused. I am going to be tons of diligent follow-up on my part. I'm going to be commenting on all my posts that people make. Every post that I just showed you from the Facebook party is scheduled in SyncShare so that I can focus on my guest. And my survey is huge. I get crazy like mommy about the survey. Like, don't forget to fill out the survey in my live videos. There's going to be a survey at the end. Don't forget to fill it out. When you fill out the survey, you get a little sample from me in the mail. And remember, don't forget to fill out your survey. And that is the way that I can connect with them because they put their cell phone number, their email address, and then I'm friend requesting them that night so they can join my VIP page. So fortune is in the follow-up and do 90% of your work at the party. That means when you have leads, schedule a time within the next 24 hours to follow up with them. Okay, so then the last thing I wanted to talk about, because we kind of talked about emptying the cup and luring them in to want more. Let me quick grab it here. Bookings for fall. So I love bookings for fall. I say that like, oh gosh, I love fall. It is the best time to host. Everybody's getting back to a school routine, whether you have kids in school or not. And what I love is that you know someone that has kids that are back in school. And so think about all the people in your circles that would benefit from A night out, and B, having meals in the freezer because football's starting and so is the crazy school schedule. I don't barf all of that on them on the phone. This is only when we have contacts, and these are words that I use at my parties. So this is what you're going to hear from me at my party tomorrow night. And so I just plant seeds like it's the busiest time for Wild Tree because school is back in session. Schedules and routines commence again. And people just love centering around food in fall. I don't know what it is. So if these are any things that appeal to you, I have lots of open dates for an online event or a live event. Would you be interested in like learning more and checking your calendar? So I always ask at closer. I never say things like, I'll follow back up with you if I'm live with them or I have them on the phone or I'm chatting with them on Facebook. I always say, does any of this appeal with you? Any of this sound appealing to you? I always end with a question. Because that I'm prompting a request. I'm asking a request. So I think that if you just go in knowing it is the busiest selling season, give people a little grace around Labor Day weekend. Give people a little grace. I mean, I'm giving myself grace. I got to get these kids back to school. We have to get in a routine ourselves. They need to go to bed on time. That's the biggest routine. But really and truly, it is like a flip of the calendar. So I always say things like, if we can just get something penciled in for mid-September, at least we have a starting point. I say things like that. And then they are a little like, oh yeah, that sounds great. They're getting to save the date tomorrow, but they're like, oh, I don't have to do anything until mid-September. So those are the biggest things I wanted to share with you guys. I would love when I post the Zoom for you guys to comment questions below. I do have to let you guys go because I've got my Facebook party. But I would love more dialogue and questions, and I love hearing from you. And I know, Abigail, you have an 8:30 webinar too. Okay, so we are going to rock and roll with closing this down. Have an awesome week, and I'll be in touch this week, guys. Okay. Bye.